So there are two things I would like to talk about today. First, what you mentioned last time an image seen in March 1940 by Sri Aurobindo. It's written in his Record of Yoga. So this is a chapter, full chapter. It's not so long. So he starts with the evolutionary scale. So he describes, so maybe I can read a little bit. We shall see how the thought of God works itself out in life. So he describes actually the manifestation, creations. It's a bit complex because the material world is first formed with the sun as center. The sun being itself only a subordinate star of the great Agni, Mahavishnu, in whom is centered the Bu. Mahavishnu is a Virat Purusha who, as Agni, pours himself out into the forms of sun and stars. Then he continues to describe in detail with many Sanskrit words and names. Then he creates out of this solar body of Vishnu the planets, each of which successively becomes the Bhumi, or place of manifestation of Manu, the mental being, who is a nodus of manifest life existence and the link between the life and the spirit. The present earth, in its turn, appears as a scene of life, Mars being its last theater. Very interesting.
Now, 1 second, he says Mars being last theater. Does it mean that there were other planets prior to that?
Prior to Mars.
Yes, this is the question.
It's what it means.
Yes, it's what it means. It's last theater. So,
on earlier occasions, there could be some other theaters then.
Venus,
yeah.
Saturn.
So this was a very interesting thing. No, I thought about a lot when I read it. When I read this for the first time, I said, "Wow, very interesting." But because I think nowhere Sri Aurobindo mentions other planets or nowhere.
No. Well, in one place, in short note, he speaks of life being on, this process being there on Mars earlier.
Oh, somewhere else?
He mentions specifically.
Ah.
Yeah. When he's talking of 12 planets.
Oh, yes.
In the collected words.
Collected words.
There is a specific mention of 12 planets there.
So,
and then he does speak of Mars.
So during the evolution, apparently it's what he say, no? The life manifests on different places, then on Earth.
No,
our present Earth.
I don't know whether it means evolution. During the evolution, you see, a process was initiated at different places in different eras. So it does not mean that the evolution started necessarily with Earth. There could have an evolution in the earlier cycle on Mars. It is not that just life appeared, There could have an evolution on Mars also, earlier processes. And prior to that, perhaps in some other places. So evolution is the theme of manifestation which are being tried during each period at different places. And then later on he says, Earth is a significant center.
Yeah. And Mother also mentioned this Earth is very special, specific.
Yeah. Earth is a significant center.
Yeah.
And the significant center is what the evolution is carrying forward. But one thing which is not described or told to us or revealed to us whether there was the element of the psychic being
Yes.
in the earlier processes. Life on Mars or whatever that process, whether the psychic being was present there or not.
That we don't know.
That we can't say. We don't know that. But in one of the talks, the mother does say that Earth has a kind of a memory of the past pralayas.
Earth has
A kind of a memory of the past pralayas.
Pralayas.
She says that. Past. In other words, the psychic memory of the earth is there about the previous experiences. And therefore she says that earth has a kind of an apprehension whether this time it is going to succeed or not. Earth has an apprehension whether this time it is going to succeed or not. She says the psychic memory is there with the earth for the previous formations.
But doesn't Pralaya means the whole universe withdrawn and no more Earth, nothing?
Yeah, total dissolution.
Then how can Earth remember this?
Well, but the psychic being is something which is immortal.
Psychic being of the Earth.
Huh.
Wow.
So unless the psychic being is resolved,
Yes.
it is not there. See.
No, that
It will continue. It will carry that memory.
So-
In fact, what happens in our case also. We are not aware of it, but our psychic is aware of our past.
Yes, of course. So then it means what she says, especially Earth had that psychic. She doesn't say other planets.
No,
Especially Earth.
that's exactly.
Maybe that's why.
Psychic being is present only on the earth.
Yes.
Only on the earth.
That is
Not even the worst gods or other places in that. No. Only on
that
the
is
earth.
incredible.
No.
It's why Mother said it is
Yeah.
this Earth is a
Yeah.
specific place for the
Yeah.
whole cosmos, no?
Yeah. Does he speak of the psychic anywhere in this passage?
No.
No.
No, I think at that time, the psychic was not yet in his. I think it's mother. It's mother.
Well, he did.
It's mother who brought the psychic idea to Sri Aurobindo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, psychic of course came most prominently with the mother, but it does not mean that Shivandu was not.
Of course. No, I mean, it was not called psychic. It was
Yes,
called
exactly.
maybe, I don't know, Chaitanya Purusha or something like that.
Yeah.
And so he describes at length this process of the manifestation, creation, evolution. He describes here, he talks about Kalpa, Pratikalpa, Manvantara, Chaturyuga. So, for example, one Kalpa equal 10 Pratikalpa.
Mm.
One Pratikalpa equal 14 Manvantaras.
Yes.
14 Manvantaras equal 100 Chaturyugas. One Manvantara equals several Chaturyugas, not always the same quantity. Each Manvantara is composed of a varying number of Chaturyuga according to the importance and difficulty of the stage which is concerned, stage of evolution. And he describes here 10 forms of consciousness developing during this process, during the Kalpas, in Sanskrit. So he said Pashu, Vanara, Pishasha, Paramata,
That's right.
Rakshasha,
Yes.
Asura, Deva, Satyadeva, Siddhadeva, and Satyadeva. Satyadeva, sorry, I made a mistake. Satyadeva, Siddhadeva, and Satyadeva.
Yeah.
The last three are known by other names, which need not be written at present, he said. So he described each stage of evolution after Pashu, Varana, and so on. For example, Pashu is mind concentrated entirely on the Anam. matter.
Yeah, matter.
The Vanara, mind concentrated on the prana.
That's right. Yeah.
The Pishasha, mind concentrated on the sense and the knowledge part of the chitta.
Yeah.
Pramata, mind concentrated on the heart and the emotional and aesthetic part of the chitta. Each time the Rakshasa is mind concentrated on the thinking manas proper and taking up all the other into the manas itself. So it's not a Rakshasa demon. No?
Yeah.
So Asura is mind concentrated on the buddhi and in the Asura Rakshasa making it serve the manas and chitta at the service of the ego actually. Deva is mind concentrated in Vijnanam, exceeding itself, but in the Asura Deva or Devasura, it makes the Vijnana serve the Buddhi. It makes the Vijnana serve the Buddhi. So maybe it's something like the mind of light, which
Yes.
is.
No, it's not mind of light.
No, not mind of light. The others raise mind successively to the Ananda, Tapas, and Sat, and are respectively the Supreme Rakshasa, the Supreme Asura, and the Supreme Deva. We have here the complete scale by which mind ascends its own ladder from matter to pure being, evolved by man in the various types of which each of the 10 principles is in its turn capable. To take the joy of these various types in their multifold play is the object of the Supreme Purusha in the human lila. So the reason of this manifestation is joy, ananda, as Sri Aurobindo says often. Then he described a series of images you mentioned last time. So I can read a little bit. A series of images and a number of intimations have been given yesterday in the Chitra Drishti. Chitra Drishti is a vision in 2 dimensions.
Drishti is sight, Chitra means picture.
Picture, yes. Chitra, yes. Chitra and Stapatya, 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions.
Chitra means picture. Image.
Picture, huh?
Photo.
Yes. Alors, given yesterday in the Chitra Drishti to illustrate the history of the first 2 manvantaras and the vicissitudes through which the human idea has gone in the course of these unnumbered ages. It's not at all surprising that there should be no relics of those vicissitudes in the strata of the present Earth. For the present Earth is not the soil of the planet as it was in the earliest Manvantara. The detrition, the upheaval, convulsions, the change that it has undergone cannot be estimated by the imaginative and summary method of the modern geologist. Men who think themselves advanced and master of knowledge, but are only infant and babblers in their own science. It is unnecessary to go at present into the scene of inhabitant of the incident. It's written here, the 3 images I follow are mentioned in the record, in the previous record. So in this 22 March 1940, he described what he is mentioning here. And he described Aurobindo described other images.
So basically, all this is before the mother's arrival in Pondicherry.
Yes, exactly. It was because, she arrived in 1940.
29th February.
Yes, and she left to Japan and she came back. So it was in 1940.
March.
It was in March in 1940.
That's right, yeah. So
And this is written in March, yes. So he described a scene of battlefield, fortified city on the plateau. These different scenes, beads and uniform, tectonic element and the character and civilization and so on. Then maybe I can read you a little bit of the last image described by Aurobindo. There are certain images of animals dating from these early aeons, which should be recorded here, although they are not of the first Pashu period, but all before and after it. The first are images of a monstrous creature resembling to the modern seal, but thicker and bulkier, seen in a region of ice. The other, another animal of equally monstrous bulk, its skin a series of successive red and yellow bands, its face excessively long, rough, thin, snouted, a cross between bear, wolf and tiger in the face, rhinoceros-like, yet supple in its body, but in spite of its ferocious appearance, sufficiently harmless. Interesting. This creature, it is suggested in the Vijnana, belongs to the first Chatur Yuga of the Pratikalpa previous to the appearance of man. For the 14 Manu enjoy each a reign. For the 14 Manus enjoy each a reign of 7 Chatur Yuga of varying lengths. So it just continues to describe a horse of the first Manvantara, clumsy, stiff-legged, and long-eared animals, squarish in its line, and most unlike the graceful modern equine species. The animals stand on the side of a river, and which head raised and straight sideways, and here pricked, list to a sound amid the trees of the opposite bank. This image was preceded by another of a horse of the Pashu period, in the later age when the civilized barbarian type was trying to recover the Gandharva. This type of horse, standing with a rider on its back and other human beings conversing near and at his head, is more equine, but is still stiff-legged and has not lost the Hasinim cast of head of his predecessor. So
talk of human beings?
Yes, he said a horse and other human beings around. The horse of the first Manvantara, in one of its earlier Chatur Yuga. So that's incredible. So interesting, no? So shall I continue a little bit? Should I have a few more minutes? Or
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's it for this. I would like to mention connection between Savitri and the record of yoga. For example, Sri Aurobindo's start is record on 26 November 1912. Officially, Sri Aurobindo wrote in his diary, "The regular record of the sadhana begins today." 26 November 1912. On 23 January 1913, a few months later, he wrote, "Today the Aishvarya and Trikaldishti suddenly develop an unprecedented force." Aishvarya and Trikaldishti. Aishvarya is the effectiveness of the will.
Aishwarya means richness, majesty, affluence.
Yes. Effectiveness of the will acting on object or even without the help of physical means. Yeah. In the record, he said. One of the...
See, Aishwarya, the root is Ishvara.
Ishvara, yes.
From Ishvara comes Aishwarya.
Aishwarya, yes.
Ishvara means God, Lord, lordly.
Yes, royalty means...
Lordly.
Yeah.
King, yeah. And Aishwarya means his status.
And what?
His character, his nature.
His nature, yes. And in the specific sense, in specific context, Sri Aurobindo said that this is the will acting on an object or event without the aid of physical means, in page 20. This is one of the 3 CD of power. Asta CD, the 8 CD, the 8 power of yoga. And Trikal Drishti. Trikal Drishti is a vision of the 3 times, past, present, and future. And this is in the record in the 1930. And in Savitri, we find Book 2, Canto 15, Kingdom of the Great Knowledge. Times triple dividing step, baffled no more. Now this is a direct reference to Trikal Drishti. Interesting, no? So we describe different kind of Trikal Drishti, different kind of siddhis, prakamya, vyapti, and I don't know if I go to the Sanskrit names. Something very interesting, maybe to finish. On 23 January 1913, Sri Aurobindo wrote, while watching the movement of ants on the wall opposite, it was suddenly perceived that every slightest movement of the particular ant observed, in each case, follows the anticipatory observation. Wherever my idea turns, there the ant, with but slight variation, immediately corrected, turned to follow it. When the forceful will was applied, there was sometimes a slight but unavailing struggle. This observation covered some 100 successive movements of various ants. 100 successive movements of various ants. Incredible. And was marred by only one actual and final failure. Incredible. So the scientific approach is so. And in Savitri, the January 1913, in Savitri we find Book 7, Canto 4. I have studied the method of the hand, an ape, and the behavior learned of man and worms. So he referred to the ant, he referred to the ape, and we find also a mention to apes in the record about page 9031. Worms also. I can read a little thing about worms. So Sri Aurobindo wrote on February 8, 1912. Lipi zoology. Lipi is a subtle writing, Lipi. Lipi zoology, indicating a superior light on the site of life form, bringing zoology into harmony with the general satyam and getting rid of materialistic difficulties. So this is the interpretation of this Lipi zoology. Immediately after, while casually seeking a book to read, I picked up Haeckel, opened on the chapter of worms, form ancestral to man, and had a predicted illumination. Such detail in Trikal Drishti is now becoming very frequent. So it's a reference to worm, and also more and more everything happened to him, comes to him in various forms. Trikal Drishti, all kind of information came to Sri Aurobindo through Lipi script. Thought, he mentioned also thought, silent thought. Yes, pensée silencieuse, silent thought. And I forgot the name. He mentioned different kind of thought, including thought with word, coming and giving him information, and silent thought, without word. And he gave an number, I forgot. Anyway. So he used this Aishvarya, this will, to the word event. At the same period, in 19 January 90, in 23 January 1913, sorry, he was influencing events in the Balkans with Aishwarya. And he mentioned this kind of events, success, failure, and so on. And at the same time, he exercised the same faculty of willpower as influencing the movement of ants on the wall. And he wrote, after his experiments with ants, if this force can be rendered permanent and generalized so as to apply to all objects and subjects, then human omniscience and omnipotence in the field permitted by the infinite are attained. It's a matter of time only. The perfectibility of knowledge and power have today been finally and irrevocably proved. 23 January 1913. Then in Savitri, and this will be the last thing, Book 6, Canto 2, Sri Aurobindo wrote, if human will could be made one with God's, if human thought could echo the thought of God, man might be all-knowing and omnipotent. But this is the same connection between the record and Savitri, omnipotence and...
No, this line has a reference to the record?
Yeah. No, this is from Savitri.
I know, but
what I read, it is in the record, page 214. If this force can be rendered permanent and generalized so as to apply to all objects, and so on. 20 January 1913, so this is...
13?
Yeah. Number 1, the first book. And that's it. So, I have read this article from Richard Arts, Savitri and the record. Actually, it is this article who brought me to this to make this connection. And in my opinion, it is a remarkable series of articles, which is called the composition of Savitri. Savitri and the record of the God. Yeah, it has been published in the Mother India in 2002. It's a series of maybe 10 articles. Absolutely, in my opinion, remarkable. So,
When was it published?
Mother India.
It came in India around 2002?
2002, yes.
Yeah.
The first one in September, then during my... I can send it to you. I can send it.
Who wrote it?
Richard Hart.
Richard.
Yes.